Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as, investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
All right, folks, here we are on Monday, December 25th. We're going to take a look at Mara today. So Mara having a huge push here. We were looking at it a few videos ago. It's down here. It's in the sevens, in the low sevens even. And it just had this nice steady rise. Nothing really insane until the most recent few trading days, right? It's really sprung up. So this was a nice sort of slow and steady action. At least for a volatile stock. I mean, some of these volatile stocks, slow and steady means 5% gains every day for a while. But in any case, then it really started to jump 12%, 6%, 8%, 10%, 12% again, and this is just like back to back to back to back. So I put in some additional levels in here so we could take a look at those, and then obviously we'll take a look at where it's situated now in the Think or Swim study, which shouldn't be a surprise. But it blew through, the levels that we had down here in previous videos. You can go watch those if you want. And so I wanted to sort of get us caught up to more relevant levels. Now, the nearest in resistance level that I see is just over 27.01. So really that battle for, is it going to be able to sustain price action over 27? To me, that's the biggest resistance, or not the biggest, the nearest in resistance level at the moment. Nearest in support level, 24.11. So there's a big range between there. Are there going to develop some more granular levels in between any of these levels I have in the chart? Probably. I tried to err on the side of keeping it relatively clean and not clutter it with a bunch of levels that I thought were maybe there, but probably a bit weaker than these levels. So these are sort of the strong ones that I think may persist for a longer period. If it loses that 24.11 level, then I have something down here all the way at 1930. So, I don't have it charted at the psychological $20 level. Here it sort of flew through that on the way up, so we'll see if that's the case, if or when it does come down. But just know that these psychological levels most likely play some role, unless there's some outsized reaction to something happening. Now, if it does get some action over that 27.01, I put a level in up here at 31.39. You can see the importance that level played previously. See a support here, resistance in all these areas, support here, right? So really banging off of this level several times in the past after some huge moves, and trying to put in some support and resistance there. And then above that, 37.10. Also strong previous price action in that same sort of range, if you will, that sort of surrounded or encapsulated this huge, just sort of like Mount Everest type motion that it put in there briefly. So yeah, I thought it sort of made sense to put in a couple of levels above and below where it is currently, even though that, the stretch of that range is basically, double in price. We have down here in the 19s and up here in the 37s. So now flipping over here to the Think or Swim study, as you would imagine, it's well out of the channel at the moment. So we're going to be looking for, when at some point it starts to interact with that channel, what it does. Now, just so we can see how the move played out here, we had a double trigger and fire. So you can go back and, I would have likely been talking about these. The trigger and fire happened and nothing really happened, right? And then on the re-trigger and the refire, that's when the really insane move happened. And this is something that's not uncommon that we see. It's really sort of it may seem nerdy to say exciting to see, but it is when you see a stock that has a tendency to be volatile, and the channel is quite compressed, right? So it's sort of primed, if you will. And the price action's pinning itself to the mid-range of the channel, and we get a trigger and a fire, and it just continues to pin itself to the mid-range, and then it starts to re-trigger, and you're like, oh boy, what's that refire going to produce? And this is what can happen. So good call out there by the TTM squeeze indicator, and it it left the channel once already, and then it came down, tested the upper mid-range of the channel, so it didn't need to come all the way down to the mid-range. That said, it didn't treat the upper bound of the channel as support, which it could have, but pulled back a little bit further, which may have resulted in then even a bigger push up out of the channel this time. So we'll see when it comes back down. Right now, the green wave cloud is up out of the channel as well. So when it comes back down toward the channel, or when the channel comes up toward it, in either way, they're going to interact with each other. Does the price action ride the wave cloud as support? Does it ride the upper bound of the channel as support? Or does it need to dip into the channel and test the upper mid-range, which is what it did here? Or even come in and test the mid-range, this bright blue area of the channel. So that's at some point what we'll look for it to do, but who knows the time frame for that. Now, histogram had a couple of hiccup candles here. That's when it pulled back in to test that upper mid-range of the channel, and then it took off again. So not a nice smooth, but not bad. A couple of hiccup candles here, but obviously putting in a nice solid upstream motion for the time being. So we'll see how that continues to play out when that histogram starts to peak and appear that it might be drawing down. If folks are interested, I'd be happy to come back in and take another look. All right, folks, I hope that you had a nice long weekend, and as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.